Good afternoon, everyone. Yep. So we have uh, only 31 participants. So let's us wait for another couple of more minutes. Okay, then we can start. So hello, everyone, once again. So let's just get started the things where we were actually. So in my previous lecture, we have been looking into how to raise the exceptions. So if I'm not mistaken, let me share my screen with you all. Here, let me disable annotations. Okay, yeah. Here we go. So yeah, yesterday we have covered, try with finally clause, and many of you are aware about finally clause is being, is an optional clause which can be used when you try to use try statement. And apart from that, means I was, clearly saying like it is getting used wherever we need to release some external resources. Okay, and I have given you a pretty much simple example. So here I have just mentioned about how exactly you can open some file, and then you might have forgotten to close that file. Then you just keep, or maybe you can just write one simple liner in a finally clause. It will automatically taking care of entire things. Okay, so that is what we have learned yesterday class, and you guys have said like there is no doubt at all. Now let me move on to the user defined exceptions. Okay, so now so far strength is our pretty much fine. Yep. So when we write our program, we do some mistakes. Okay. So generally we are human beings. So whenever we write some program, even I do some mistakes. So when you do some mistake which leads to some error, okay, and when that particular error comes in a runtime, you know, or maybe what happened when you will run and that error comes in a runtime, your program may terminates. Okay, may terminates with and you can say like it might be because of the error, or maybe it is because of some error come which you are not able to handle that. So that is why I have clearly mentioned here program terminate as soon as it encounters an unhandled error. So that means that error which comes in a runtime, you are not being a part of that. You are not able to handle that error. That is why your program terminates because of that. Okay, and every time you will see like your program terminates, but you are not able to figure it out what is the reason behind that, because you are not able to handle that. Okay, so for that sake, sometimes what we do, we generally create our own exceptions. So that is why I have mentioned the topic as in create custom exceptions. So sometimes you never know what kind of exceptions are there, or maybe you wanted to, deal with some program, basic program or a very simple program where you wanted to, you wanted to restrict the user by saying like this is very small amount, or maybe you are saying like this is very huge amount. So you have to enter everything is in between something, maybe some range you can say. Then how do you make that exceptions to the user, because that is nothing but the program which you are trying to write, and then exceptions which you wanted to create for the user to tell this is what the reason behind why you are not able to enter that particular number or maybe in cheese. Okay, so at that time generally we do what we our own self we create custom exceptions we can say. So basically you have to write simple liner code, or maybe you can say like one page of code where we generally write to like all the custom exceptions. But truly speaking, we don't do like this. Generally what we used to maintain one separate file where we generally keep all the exceptions which we will think like this is gonna come on my code. Okay, so now here I have mentioned like user can create a new class to define a custom exceptions. So you basically you have to create one new class, and this particular exception class has to be derived from where? Anyone? Any guesses? That has to derive from the exception class, which is nothing but the built-in exception class. Okay, so when I write here either directly or indirectly, what I mean is that means either you intentionally write it or not, somewhere you have to mention it is because it is being derived from your exception class, that is nothing but our built-in base class. Okay, Are we clear on that or not? If yes, do let me know, please, guys. Guys, still I am waiting for you to wave. I am not able to understand why you guys are not responding. Please, I'm just waiting for you to, wave at least hand, or maybe somebody can acknowledge me. Is it fine or not? Do I need to repeat it again or what? Let me look. I got some. Yeah. Finally, yes. So I got some. Yeah, clear, sir. Move on to the next topic. Thank you so much from you, the people who have answered me and who have replied to me. Thank you so much for that. Yes. So apart from that, I was even, given here some examples. So here, what I'm trying to, give you is I have created one class which is nothing but the custom exception class. Okay. So I've just mentioned that so that you would be able to easily understand, or maybe you can easily see what exactly sir has been created. So what I have done is here I have just created one class with the name of custom exception. Okay. And what it means is it is nothing but the class which I am trying to you create, and for what? For my future purposes. Maybe later on the phase in my some other code, or maybe in my same code, I am going to use this particular class to write my own exceptions. Okay. Clear? Now here in this example, we have created a user defined exception. So user defined exception, when I say, that means I have written here custom exception as in class, which will inherit from the exception. So if inheritance occurs, that is why I have mentioned in a bracket exception. Okay, guys, just have a look into it where exactly custom exception is accepting an argument which is nothing but exception. So this exception is nothing but our inbuilt class which I was talking in just 2 lines back. You can see, like, I have clearly mentioned the exception class has to be derived either directly or indirectly from the built-in exception class. So in my example, I have done the same thing. Okay. So it's a kind of dummy class which I have just created for you all, so that you would be able to interpret and you would be able to easily and correlate what he's talking about. Okay. Now, if you want me to, execute same thing, I'll just let me just go back to, Jupyter notebook, and then I can share you what exactly I was talking about. Here we go. Here we can see what was my last lecture about. Yes. So let me just share my screen. Basically, Jupyter notebook, guys. Yes. So what I was talking about, let me write here class. I'm writing here class, and I have created custom exception, custom exception. So it's just a name you can give as per your need, or maybe whatever you feel like. Here I am writing exception because exception is nothing but our, inbuilt class. Here I am just trying to write what pass because it's my dummy class. So you can write it anyway, anything. Now, once you will write this, you have to just execute it. Let me execute this. So nothing, we haven't received any error. So let me just use this custom exception here by saying raise, and then you have to just mention class name. Let me run this. Let me see what exactly the output. You can see here. So we are getting what? Custom exception. So it is saying like raising the custom exception, and now you can see the same manner we used to get all the exceptions, means built-in exception, we generally get this kind of error, or maybe you can say these kind of notices we generally used to get. So here also we are also getting, here I'm getting nothing in front of custom exception because I haven't passed any argument, I haven't mentioned any messages here. That is why I'm not getting anything in front of custom exception. Okay. So so guys, just think about it, because if you will go back to my previous class, yeah, just let me go back to the point. You can see here, this is nothing but my built-in class keyboard interrupt. This is what my built-in class. So same way I have created this class and I've tried to use, by saying raise and custom exception. Okay. And if I will pass any argument, then it is gonna accept that argument. It is gonna say that. Okay. So guys, are we clear on this or not? I hope everybody got clarity on this. Okay. Guys, please just respond me with by saying like, sir, we have understood this, because it's a
Yes,
very
sir.
simple thing. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So let me again go back to my PPT, so that I can tell you what exactly I was talking about. Yes. So that's what entire thing is about, user defined exception, and we are able to create custom exceptions actually. Now, here I have clearly mentioned one thing. It is always a good practice to create separate file for all user defined, or when we have large Python program. That means I am trying to say here, you have to create separate file where you will mention all the exceptions, all the user defined exceptions. You have to place it there, and then you start working on your code. Because if you have large Python program, then you have to tackle multiple things. So so that is why I keep on saying like, please try to maintain these kind of things, so that it would be quite easy for you to track down what all exception you have created, what all exception name you have given, what is my exception class. It would be easier for you to track down what is my exception name, or maybe what is the class which we have used for a custom exceptions. Okay. So that is what thing which you need to look into it, so that you will not get, or maybe you will not face any problem in the later phase. Okay. Now with this we can move on. I'm just trying to explain here one of the programs, so let me just cover it up. Here I have given one example. Okay. So basically this particular program is to guess the store number is correctly, and while making an attempt to guess, you will get hint about the store number. Okay. So basically here what I am what I have done is, let me go back, let me take you to the Jupyter notebook, so that you guys can easily able to correlate what exactly sir is doing and what exactly he has done. Because it's a pretty much very simple example, but somehow it would make you much more clearer when you try to use this. It's a very simple, you can say like simple program, which I tried to code it for you all. So here, let me share my screen, Jupyter notebook. So here I'm gonna mention user defined custom exceptions. Now, I hope you guys are able to see my screen. Okay. And so in this screen, what all thing I have mentioned, we can just go on with, line by line. Yes, guys, in the first line, what I have done, I have just mentioned user defined error. Okay. And I have, this is nothing but our custom exceptions, you can say. So it's a class which I have created for, defining all the error inside. And then I have just inherited, because it is being inherited from the exception, which is nothing but the inbuilt class. So I have just written, what exception. Now, apart from that, what I have done is I have again created one more class where I have just mentioned entered value to small. this is one kind of error where it is, it is derived from what? It is derived from the, upper class. Upper class is nothing but the user defined error. So you can say I am just trying to pass this. Okay, I'm just trying to pass this. Okay, and here you will get everything. So guys, you can clearly see what I am trying to here say in the line fifth. Okay, I have just used class entered value to a small error. Okay, and this is another class where I have used just nothing but above one class, line one class. I'm trying to use it, means I'm trying to inherit the property of a class user defined error. Okay, now, in the same way, I have mentioned one another class in line number 9, where I am trying to, where I have mentioned entered value too large error. Okay, so you can say here, even here, I am trying to use what all things are mentioned in my class 1, or basically you can say like in line 1 class. Okay, now basically my program here is to what? My this program wanted to, suppose you have stored some number somewhere, let's say. Okay, now when you store that number, you have to do something with that number. Are you getting my point? So somewhere you have stored, let's say take it as an one simple, you can say like a variable, and you can store any number, which you are aware about it, but nobody else knows like what number it is. Now you have taken that number, you have stored it. Now here my program is trying to do, or is trying to guess actually what number you guys have stored it. Okay, so it is basically nothing but I'm trying to guess my numbers. So when I'm trying to guess my numbers, so what I will do is basically I will try to enter all the numbers. Okay, I'll keep on entering all the numbers. So there must be some point where we will get some that number. Okay, so when we will get that number, at that point of time we will say like, oh, okay, now this is the point where we have got our number. Guys, are you getting my point? Now, so I'm trying to give hint when you keep on running your program. So when I say I'm trying to give a hint, when you keep on running some program is, what does that mean is, so let's say you have entered some number. Okay, now when you entered some number, I am trying to say the guess number is less than this, or maybe I'm trying to say the guess number is more than this. Okay, what does that mean? You would be able to, maybe correlate, and maybe you would be able to think like my number is in between something. Okay, so at that point of time you have to just you have to just make that correction, or maybe you have to just think logically what my number would be. Okay, so here let me just go again and show you how exactly I'm trying to guess here. So here if you will look into this, I have written while statement, while true. Okay, what all things you need to do? While true, my condition is nothing but if I will match this number 20. Okay, then if I will match this number, then I will get simply the output as in your guess is absolutely correct. That's it. Until unless I will not match that number, I have to keep on entering that number. So what I'm trying to do is here, I'm just trying to write everything code, all the code which will raise exception as in the try block. So what I have written is number is equal to, please enter a number. So that is nothing but you have to just ask user from the users. Okay, once you do that, then what next step you need to perform? Anyone? It is clearly mentioned in your code and you are not able to speak. This is how you gonna listen in my class. Guys, I just wanted to know whether you guys are listening to me or not. I guess nobody is trying to listen actually. They are just, they have been asked to listen Praveen sir lecture and everybody is trying to do the same because that is what it is showing. So somebody has pinged Sambi, then raise exception. Okay, thank you so much. I got answers from 3 or 4 people. Now, what we are doing here is we have written just a simple liner code where I am trying to ask if my number, okay, this number I am getting from user, if my number is less than stored number is mine, let's say for the time being it is being 20. Now my it is gonna check with number with stored number. If it is less, okay, the entered number is less, then you have to raise this error, entered value too small. So you will have to go, when I raise this error, you have to go to here, this one, and here you have to write something. That code is somewhere, it is written somewhere, that means it is written in here, it is in accept. So accept entered value too small. So that is what raise we have raised is. Now here what I'm trying to raise, or maybe what I'm trying to handle, basically the entered value is too small, please try again. Okay, are you getting my point? So here I have clearly mentioned the entered value is too small. Okay, please try entering some other number because that is not your answer. Now again, I have again asked something. So else if, or basically L if my number is greater than stored number, so you had to raise another error. This particular entered value too large. Okay, if that is there, then what? Then if enter value is too large, then you have to call this except this one, and here I am trying to call it the entered value is too large, please try again. Now here I have again mentioned the entered value is too large, please try again. And if everything goes fine, if there is a possibility when the number is nothing but equal to integer, or sorry, a stored number, then what? Then it will automatically say it is absolutely correct. So guys, you have to spend at least 2 minutes on this code. If still you feel like, sir, we are not able to understand this, then please do let me know so that I can explain again. Otherwise we can execute afterwards. Guys, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. After 2 minutes you have to ping me by saying, sir, we do not have any doubt on the code. So I got one basically one thing, or maybe one ping from you all by saying like, sir, can you please explain it again? I'm just trying to give you 1 or few minutes actually for you all. Okay, now yes, with the with someone by saying like, sir, can you please explain it again? I am just gonna go again. So the one who has raised this issue, even though if somebody else having the same, then yeah, I have written one class where I had just mentioning the name of the class is user defined error, and it is derived from what, that is built in exception class. I have written everything here. Whatever means I haven't done any coding stuff, but yeah, I have just mentioned pass. Okay, now afterward, again I have used I have created one more class which is nothing but the entered value too small error kind of class, where exactly I have just mentioned this exception is raised when the input value is too small. So this is what I have clearly mentioned. Okay, so I have used here three classes. The two classes are being, they are going to inherit the property of class 1, which is nothing but the user defined error. So you can see that they have also clearly mentioned. Okay, apart from that, we have just taken, one variable. I gave name of a stored number. This number is being stored. Now I am trying to, iterate over something, or maybe all the values. Wherever I will get 20, I will just try to maybe you can say like stop my entire thing. Okay, so here what I have written, while true, inside the try I have just mentioned num. So here inside that while true, I have just mentioned in try block, I have just mentioned number is equal to num is equal to int. Please enter number. If somebody has entered number, then I'm gonna check. Let's say somebody has entered 5. 5 is less than 20. 5 is less than 20. Of course, correct. So now what it is trying to do? It will go to the exception, which is nothing but the enter value is too small. Okay. Now I don't know whether you guys are able to correlate again or not. So, and again, if number, so number is what? My number is, let's say I have said 5. 5 is greater than 20? No. So that means it will not execute elif part, it will just execute if part, and everything goes well. Then it will go to the entered value is too small. So entered value is too small. It is gonna print this line, and then it will just enter this. Now let me run this code. So as I said, I have just if I will write 5, my stored number is what, 20. Let me see. The entered value is too small. Please try again. Let me write 30. What is saying? The entered value is too large. Please try again. The entered value is too large. Please try again. Now let me write. I have written 26, 20. Let me write 18. Now the entered value is too small. Guys, any guess what I wanted to write now? Okay, let me write, finish it. Let me finish this particular code. Let me write 20. Now you can see. Your guess is absolutely correct. Now, with this, what you guys are able to understand? Anyone, any guesses? Anyone want to, make an attempt? With this, what do you understand? No one, no guesses? Okay, now let me clear you all. So with this, you need to understand my program never terminates in between. My program only terminates when it will matches the correct output. Guys, this is very important and very crucial step. So in between your program, if something goes wrong or maybe something went wrong, then you have to tackle that. Okay, in between. Otherwise, your program may end up by giving you nothing. Your program may, terminate. Undoubtedly, it will terminate in between, and you will not be able to track down. So that is why it is always a good practice to, give an exception, write an exception, and always try to mention that exception. Are you getting my point? So that is why, if you must have seen to my window, I keep on entering my values, but I was not getting anything, or my program never terminates in between. So let me again give you a demo. Suppose I have entered this. Now you can see here. Exactly, somebody has asked something and you're perfect. With user defined, you write your program by giving any issue. If there is a issue and you think like there will be an issue, you just have to mention basically that issue. That's it. Now let me run this again. I have mentioned 67. No, your value is too large. Now let me write 14. Your value is too small. Let me write 15. Your value is too small. Let me write just 19. Your entered value is too small. Now let me write 20. You can see we got answer. So that is why it is keep on asking you to enter something. And because that is there in my while loop. And while loop terminates only when it will, get the exact output, basically what we trying to achieve. Okay, guys. So far, so clear, I guess. If yes, then we can move on to the next. Yes. Now let me go back to my presentation. Okay, thank you. Yes. Now we have another thing in user defined customizing exception classes. So you have to give some better example. I know that example was also good, but yeah, I wanted to give you one more real time example in which you have to just give an error like your salary is not in this range, something like that. So what exactly I was trying to explain, I'm trying to explain you here by this code is we can also customize the previous class to accept the other argument as based on the requirement, or maybe you can say need. So here I have mentioned clearly we can also customize the previous class. When I say the previous class, my previous one class, you can see here, let me go back here. Here I have just kept trying to use exception, that's it, in my argument. But so what I'm trying to say here, we can also customize the previous class to accept the other argument as based on the requirement. So here, so same manner, I have just created one more class, which is nothing but the class salary not in range error. This is one kind of exception. Now here I'm trying to give some attribute. I'm trying to use some attribute. Okay. So here I have mentioned salary and message is my another attribute. So here we need to what we need to do is we need to input salary, okay, which may cause an error, or generally this program does the same thing. And the message, if you are your salary is incorrect, then you will get some message. These kind of thing comes in your exception. How are you people going to make that class? How you guys are going to create that class, or basically you should create that example. Okay. So guys, let me just uh, talk about this with you all, so that you will get much better clarity. Somehow I have don't know what happened to my code. So let me just write it for you all. Guys, you are able to see my screen, my Jupyter notebook or not?
No, sir.
Okay, that means I have lost my code somewhere. Okay, and then let me write in front of you all, because that example is pretty much good example actually. So let me share my Jupyter notebook with you all here, and let me just code it for you all. So here what I'm trying to say is, first of all you have to basically the topic is saying it's a customizing exception classes. So I'm just writing customizing. Now, so first of all, what my step is to do, first of all you have to create your class, and you can provide any name. So I was written salary not in range, salary not in range. This is what error I have written. And inside that, what I have, because that has to be derived from the class, built-in class with nothing but the exception. So this is what I have written. Now here what we are trying to write is, though I am trying to use this particular class in my code, so inside that I'm going to use two different attributes. Okay, one is nothing but the salary attribute, another one is nothing but the message. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do is, let me define this with the self. So I'm writing like def instead of here itself. Self, I have written self, and then here I need to write salary, my one argument. Another one argument is nothing but the message. So here I am writing message like this, and which what message I wanted to print I need to mention. So I will just write salary is not in the range. 1500 to, let me just give you 15,000 to 30,000. This is what the range in my salary. Okay, let's say I'm just writing now, so don't speculate. My salary is far better than this, but please don't assume that. But yeah, here just you need to write few things like self dot basically salary is equal to salary, and then you have to write self dot message equal to message, and in this I'm just trying to write super class which will inherit everything actually. So let's say nothing but this underscore in it, because that is going to inherit the what self dot message. Okay, we have written so far this. Now after this my class, let me write some code on outside of my class. So here my class is just you take input from the user. Salary is equal to, you need to ask what from the user int. Okay, and here you should ask like, or maybe you have to mention input, and then you just need to this. And maybe you can write please enter your salary. Then inside that you have to just write a loop which is nothing but the if. Here if not, basically what I'm saying, 15,000, my salary is between this. I have written this. Now suppose you have just mentioned like your salary, if your salary is not in this, then you have to raise, then you have to just write raise, and you have to mention exception name. So I am just trying to write this class name, this one, sorry, I should not mention like this, and here I have written like this. Now again with this, if we will get something, and then in this you must have seen here I have written this. Here we don't need to write like this because we just wanted to pass the salary, so I'm gonna write salary here. Okay, and now I just wanted to, if whatever it writes, I just wanted to print what, I just wanted to print your salary, something like this, some messages where which will say like your salary is what. Okay, that's it. So if we will execute this, let me see what exactly the output. Let me run this. You can see here invalid syntax, somewhere I am getting invalid syntax. What exactly? Okay, sorry. Here instead of we don't need to mention like this. Yeah, let me run this. Yes, I got that. Yeah, here let me write my salary has to be, let me write like this, 10,000. 10,000 is not in that range, so let me enter. What I'm saying is, what exception I'm getting, salary is not in the range of 15,000. So you can see here, this is what the exception comes, which is nothing but my exception I have created for that. And inside the message which I wanted to print is, I have just mentioned like this. Okay, let me run same code and let me just enter 20,000. Your salary is 20,000. So here I am getting no error. Okay, but same way, if you will enter this, and now I'm gonna write 32,000, you can see I am getting same error. So that means my custom exception class is still working fine, and whatever I wanted to print inside, message, because earlier we used to just able to print this, but we were not able to print this. That is why, we have stuck somewhere. Okay, so that is why I just keep on saying you all, please, you know always think before you do some code. Okay, so that is why here I have just mentioned, if my salary is not in this range, just I am trying to raise something. So I'm trying to raise that exception in front of that. Okay, apart from that I have done nothing. Okay, so guys, that is why, always remember, you have to write an exception class somewhere. Okay, so it's in my previous slide that was mentioned clearly, always maintain one separate file in which you have to write all these things. Are you getting my point? So there you have to mention what all things I need to, write in that class, how exactly message I wanted to print, how exactly I wanted to give message to the users, what all input user is trying to enter. If he will enter this, then we need to, give or maybe throw an exception by saying like, no, 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 you have written something else. We want something else. That kind of thing you can elaborate on your custom classes basically. Okay, and I must say it is not at all tough topic. It's a very simple or basic topic actually, but you need to be very careful when you do these kind of stuff. Okay, so guys, please always, you know give some time to code. Always think before you code, and then also think after you code, because somewhere you must have missed something, or maybe you have forgotten something. And then when all of a sudden somebody will ask you, and by saying like, madam, you have forgotten this, sir, you have missed this, then you should be able to, tell what exactly you have forgot, or maybe what exactly you have missed. Okay guys, so that is why, it was my intention to, give you a lot of brief about exceptions, how exactly we can handle the exceptions, what is user defined exceptions, what is built-in exceptions, how we are trying to use built-in exception, how we do in your the custom exceptions, and in custom exceptions how exactly we can customize the number of argument, or maybe how exactly we can, link that. So guys, I'm hoping nobody will be having any doubt. If still you have any doubt, please do let me know right now. I'm trying to give you 1 minute or so for you to think about it, and if not, then please do let me know. Send me message on the, our chat, by saying, okay, let me just ask, how many of you are able to understand what exactly I have, said to you all? 528, thank you so much. What about others?
Understand, sir.
What about others? Okay, I have got 2 3 responses from you all. Many more, any other? Okay, understood. Okay, so I'm assuming like you do not have any doubt, and still if you will have any doubt, please, before I start my class, please ask, stop me if I will stop some new topic, or maybe if I will start something, please stop me before that, so that I would be able to explain you. Because maybe 5 days back, if you will ask, sir, I have some doubt on this topic, then it would require some time for me to go back to that point or go back to that topic. Okay, so guys, with this we are pretty much close most of the thing, and now I will take advanced topic now. Advanced topic, when I say, that is nothing but the advanced function. So you need to understand that as well. Okay, what all advanced functions are there, where exactly you can use your advanced functions, what exactly you will do with your advanced functions. Okay. Okay guys, with this we can close our session. Thank you so much, thank you for your participation. Okay, I'm gonna close my session now. Thank you.